Okay, good. Right, let's get our first speaker up. I'm going to introduce you to Adrian. First up is the award-winning, or actually it's the multi-award-winning Murphy Wealth, headed up by Adrian Murphy, and they are a great deal more than a wealth management company, I can assure you. And what better way to kick off a session on Own Your Own Future than with Adrian on being yourself. You know, how do you make sure that you do own your own future, and why is that important? Why is that important to us? How do you make sure you're being yourself and living the life that you want to live? So with that, I'll let Adrian unmute himself and carry on for 10 minutes.
So Jim, just remute me after 12 minutes or so, right? Okay, we'll go with that. Okay, I'll just share my screen here. We're not going to do death by PowerPoint. It's actually, to be honest, the slides are a wee bit self-indulgent in that they are a chance for us to get a first look at. You guys are getting a first look, global exclusive at our new branding and our kind of the beginnings of our new messaging. So this is a kind of nice wee opportunity for us to road test that. But it's got a more serious point as well. This idea of being yourself is something that's evolved. We've always talked to people about taking control of their future and making sure, as you can imagine, as financial planners, that you plan for the future and that you're going, your destination, and we can help you with the journey. That kind of idea. But as that's evolved, we realised there's a lot more to it than that. It's the easiest thing in the world for us would be for you to come to and sit in our office or more likely sit via Zoom and tell us, look, all I want to do is I want to retire at 60 and I want to go on more holidays, and can you help me with that? And the answer to that, sorry, the wee dogs also want to get involved in the business journey this morning, so apologies for that. So the easiest thing in the world for us would be to say, yeah, absolutely, of course we can do that. And we'd take you through a process, and some of you may be familiar with that. And you'd probably get to retire roughly when you said and go on more holidays. Through our life planning work and through our behavioural coaching, we've discovered that, in fact, there's a lot more to this than meets the eye, because invariably what we get told is what people think they want to do without properly exploring it. Those kind of really high level, kind of surface level things that people have in their minds are fine, but there's more to it than that. There's always something behind, right? Okay, but why do you want to do a thing at a particular age, or a particular point in life, or to go to a particular place? What does that actually mean to you? How does it make you feel? And in exploring that, then we start to get really to the heart of what's important to that person. So for today, in the time that we have, I thought I would give you our 5 B's that can maybe help you make more of your future and take control. So very simply, we've got 5 things here. Be honest. Again, there's, whether it's, I don't think it's just a West of Scotland thing. I think there's more to it than that. People are afraid to say what it is that they really, really want to do. And actually, my good friend Susan in the last session will talk about that in a bit more detail. We all have, limiting beliefs, and we're all a bit, shy to speak up about. Well, in fact, actually, do you know what? My true passion is X, Y, Z, and the more exploration that we do with people, the more we find that in fact there is something else there. Some of the questions that we might ask to try and really drill down to that, you know, if the doctor, if you went to a doctor and they told you you've got 24 hours to live, good news is you're not going to suffer. But, you know, the bad news is this is your last day. You know, the questions that we might start to ask then is who did you not get to be and what did you not get to do? Really trying to drill down into, right, it's fine, yes, you've got your life and you have your job and there's family and you have a couple of hobbies and you go on holidays. That's not really what life's about. So trying to get at those real passions and talents that perhaps you haven't used. And only in allowing people to kind of unpeel that onion do you start to get to that stuff. And in our view, and I'm happy to have a debate on this one, but unless you do that, then it's very difficult to see how you can live a truly fulfilled life. You can live a good life, but is it the best life that you could live? The second one there is be informed. Whenever, you know, if you take it from a purely financial planning perspective, there's a huge knowledge gap between us sitting on one side of the table and you sitting on the other in most cases. So one of the things that we're doing at the moment, and we will be doing a lot more of in the future, is putting a lot more educational material out there. And when I say educational material, I don't mean boring stuff about pensions and all that. No, it's definitely not that. It's more about what's important and the kind of thing that you should be thinking about when it comes to your future and your financial planning, your spending, your income, your you know, debt, the whole shooting match. And actually, if you really if you bother spending any time on the internet, I've got a number of colleagues down south that do a fantastic job at this stuff. There's some great podcasts. So I would always encourage you to go out there and be informed. That way, when you come to these types of conversations, you're doing it from a position of strength rather than starting from scratch. Always be open to new ideas. You know, don't, again, that kind of goes back to that limiting thing. We'll go through a process with clients, and some of the stuff can start to seem a bit scary and a wee bit like, oh, I don't really like that, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. Well, that's probably the right thing then. You're starting to move from that comfort zone into an area where you're like, oh, yeah, I kind of like it, but it's making me feel a wee bit funny in the legs or whatever it is. Then we're probably onto something. So I'd encourage you to keep an open mind, be open to new ideas, be organised, plan ahead, and take control. You know, the theme that Jim talked about there is absolutely right. That, sorry, I might have to do something about the dog squeaking that ball in the background. If you don't, yeah, give me 1 second. Talk about taking control. These are the joys of live Zoom and working at home, I guess. So if you're organised, plan ahead, take control, but do it now. I can't tell you how often I hear from people, yeah, no, look, I hear what you're saying. I really, really like it. I'm going to do it when. I'm going to do it when everything is just right. Or when, you know, for example, the current situation we're in just now, I'm going to do it when this is all over. Right? When's that? Do you know? And in fact, there's a huge amount of water that will pass under the bridge between now and then. You know, I had a conversation with a potential client, very successful chap, and, you know, be a fantastic client for us. And he's going to say, yeah, no, in 3 years' time, I'm going to start addressing all of this. And we go, right. But the problem with that is, what if something happens in that 3 years? And we know for a fact that during that 3 years, lots and lots of stuff will change. And what if during those 3 years, you've missed out on a whole load of stuff in life that you would have wanted to do because you didn't take control? So there is no time like the present. Whether you think it's the right time or not, absolutely take that opportunity to start planning so you can start living your life properly. There's a lot of most of the stress and pain and anxiety that we have in life at its fundamental core will be something to do with money. So why not try and deal with that immediately? And the last is be inspired. Look for people that inspire you. Look for reading, whether it's, I don't know what you think, whether it's your things, podcasts and books. I love books myself, and I listen to a few podcasts. You get so many great ideas about what you can do, and we always encourage our clients to if we don't leave them inspired to do something fantastic with their lives, then we haven't done our job well. So in a nutshell, we've kind of come up with this formula. It's in its early days, but really what you're looking at is emotions times behaviours plus science equals a fulfilled life. That's what we're trying to do here. I think I might be within my 10 minutes, Jim.
Yeah, indeed. I'm shocked. Even with the dog.
Even with the dogs, apologies for that. He's even been out for a long walk, and he's got far too much energy. I wish I had his energy. So yeah, it was kind of short and sweet. We wanted to just keep it quite succinct, but maybe just give you some thoughts as to, right, okay, maybe if I follow that philosophy, I might start to take some action and start to change my life moving forward. We are absolutely in a difficult situation, and there is an awful lot of unknowns. So why don't we try and control the things that we can control? That would be our view.
Okay, great, Adrian. Thank you. While you guys, I'm sure you've got comments or observations or questions that you want to ask, and we'll actually get you unmuted to ask them. If you've got a question for Adrian, then just stick your hand up and Jackie will unmute you. While you're thinking about your question, and the thing that that struck me, Adrian, as you were talking, I wanted to add another B to your list, and you recognise be, do, have.
Yeah.
This comes from the conversations that we've had over, that we've had with clients over years and years and years. And you hear it all the time, and it's the opposite way around. It's have, do, be. It's, when I have loads of money and time, I'll do all the things that I want to do, that I love to do, then I'll be very happy. And I often ask the question, well, how long is it going to take you to get all the money that you really want? And they'll say, oh, crikey, 4 years, 5 years. I say, so you're going to be miserable for 4 or 5 years then? You're going to wait that length of time to be happy? And it just triggers thoughts in their mind about flipping it to the other way around. Why not be happy now? Be happy now, do the things that you love to do now, then you'll have all the things that you want. So your 5 Bs just reminded me of that.
You know what, Jim? As you rightly say, I know that well, and I'd actually forgotten that. That's a fantastic reminder, because it is exactly that. You don't wait, it doesn't, we get this a lot. I'm going to wait until all these things are perfect, and then I can be this amazing person, inspired, and I'll do my meditation, and I'll do this, and I'll do that, and I'll, whatever it is, whatever your thing is, that day will never come. You have to be it now, and then all the other stuff will happen. It's absolutely right, Jim. That's a brilliant observation.
Who's first with a comment or a question for Adrian? We're all too shy. No? All righty. Anything occurs to you, just get it in the chat box, and we'll answer it as we go, as I say. All right, Adrian, thanks a lot.
Okay,
Bang on time. It was absolutely perfect.